So there's this phenomenon that is so common now. I can't seem to like wrap my head around it. The idea that people would always use some specific set of people, not everybody, but some specific set of people, they will always use that thing which is very, very important to you. They will always use it to, sort of like threaten you in a way or sort of like use against you in a way. So I find it very, very disgusting. I find it very, very bad. I find it very, very not of a good approach that people use as a corrective measure, to either tell people the kind of behavior they expect them to do, or to kind of like tell people how they expect them to behave, either in one way or the other. So let me explain in more context so that you can understand. So let's say you are in a working relationship with somebody, and obviously in a working relationship there's exchange of value. So let's say during the course of the working relationship there is maybe potential conflict or altercation of some sort. So the person can come off and be saying something like, you have this so and so value to collect from me. If you don't behave, you might lose on the value, or I might not give you the value. So having done the work, somebody has done the work already. Somebody has, exercised what is expected of him or her. Then when it comes to reciprocating the value, because I believe any relationship of some sort, there is an exchange of value going on. So the exchange of value can either be monetary, which is financially. It can either be time. So it can either be exchange of time. So the time can be the value, the attention too can be the value, the productivity can be the value. So anything that is ascribed value, must be encountered when a relationship is going on. So must be sort of like exchange when a relationship is going on. So using that as a yardstick of, I have your so and so value with me. If you don't behave, if you don't act right, if you don't act proper, I may not give you that which is yours. So I find it very, very, bad, very disgusting, and very not sort of a good approach, in that there are many ways you can correct a particular behavior. Because I believe in the principle of correction rather than punishment, because I believe punishment is operating from a place of you acting selfishly, in the sense that you are just looking at the situation from only your perspective alone, then you're acting on that to like correct the person, or to like allow the person to conform to that behavior which you want. While correction is operating from the point of you are experiencing what you're experiencing. So you are in your shoes, you've experienced it, you've experienced the pain, you've experienced everything. Then you go into the other person or the other party's shoes to like see things from his own perspective also. So you can gain perspective of the both sides before you like apply your corrective action or your punitive action. So correction for me is something that is very, very profound. So if you're using that as a yardstick or as a medium of enforcing correction, it's very bad, and it often puts the other party that is the recipient of that value which is important to him or her at a disadvantage. I find it very appealing. I believe there are other better ways as to which this can be done. There's a place of effective communication. I don't know why we don't prioritize communication as we should. There's a place of effective communication. You can talk to the person, you can engage in sort of like rapport with the person. Hey, I don't like what you've done. I expect you to do it this way, this way, this way. Why not try it out this way? Offer alternatives, offer suggestions. Listen to the person. So the person also, it might be the person might not necessarily don't want to do that which you tell him or her to do. It might be the person also is experiencing something. So ask questions, engage in effective communication, establish a ground point. Effective communication is the best way, one of the best way you can use to establish that corrective action where both party lives, happy and in a win-win situation. So there's a place of effective communication. You can engage in effective communication. One of the best way, one of the profound way, to enforce that which you want from the person. You can also engage in principles of incentives. So offering incentives to that other party that you want that action or that activity or that behavior that you want from them. So you can offer incentives, to sort of like motivate them to work more, or to evoke that behavior which you want them more. So incentives might not only be monetary alone, so it can be their intrinsic motivation. So there's a kind of motivation called intrinsic. So it's like innermost side of motivation is intrinsic. So motivation experienced internally. So like you can promise them job advancement, you can promise them recognition for a job well done, you can promise them many things that are often intrinsic, that is, they are inwardly experienced. Aside from that, also there is the extrinsic motivation. So you can promise them reward, so monetary, that's extrinsic system of motivation. You can promise them extrinsic system of motivation. You can promise them, which is in form of reward. So the reward might also be monetary. It can be movement from one location to the other, so which is often of like a higher location. So these are other ways at which you can evoke positive behavior of people, as opposed to using that situation or that thing that the person needs the most from your encounter to like evoke that behavior which you want. So I believe this should be a kind of recall, a kind of caution to people that engage in this act, because you are putting the other person at a disadvantage indirectly. You're making the person feel neglected of some sort. You're making the person feel abandoned of some sort, and it is not the right way to go as opposed to these things. So embrace the principle of effective communication. Embrace the principle of giving incentives, among other positive solutions to these problems. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.